In OZmap, you can document your splitters in various ways. In this video, I'll show you how to create, configure, and use them here. Tips that will make your job much easier. You can add splitters inside boxes, pops, and condominiums. Before that, we're going to define your splitter types, but I'm going to leave these open here so that you can see them more visually as we create a splitter type. In the left-hand side menu here in OZmap, you can access this type bar, which is where you define the standards for the elements you use in your project, so that when you create any of these here, it will already be well specified for what you need. In this tab, you can see the types of splitters you already have, and also where you can create new types. To create a new type, you come down here under New Splitter Type, and here you enter this information. The ones in red are mandatory, the others are not. Then here you enter the code, which is the name that will appear when you select the splitter somewhere you want to place it. Here in OZmap, the nomenclature we usually apply says something about the inputs. When it's the case of a balanced splitter, so for example, we have this splitter here from 1 to 2, from 1 to 4, and when it's about unbalanced splitters, which will always be from 1 to 2, we usually use its unbalanced number in the name. In addition, it is followed by some specifications. For example, the letter A, which means it is for attendance, the letter R for network, F if it is connected by fusions, and C if it is connected by connectors. And this nomenclature is a standard that we use here to facilitate this identification, but you can use it in any way you prefer in your network. Then, here, creating your new type of splitter, you can also enter the brand, the model, the prefix, and here you have the mandatory input and output type, which is so that the fiber splitter comes with the fusions and connectors automatically. Here in the box, you can see that the fusions are represented by dots and the connectors by squares. You can also define here whether the splitter is balanced or not. Here in the box, it will be represented as follows. The balanced ones will have their outputs all the same color, and the unbalanced one will have one output of each color, one black and one white. And here you can also define whether to allow client connection or not. So what's going to change here in the box? The ones that allow client connection are therefore serviceable. So these are the white splitters, like this one. And this one, which is gray, is a network splitter, and it doesn't allow client connection. The OZlocks commercial viability analyses only consider splitters that allow client attendance. Also, when a client is created outside the box here, and you draw the drop connected to it, these clients will automatically be connected to this attendance splitter here. To finish creating your new type of splitter, you can add the number of inputs and outputs, the attenuation that is suffered when it passes through this splitter, and, if you want, you can also add a description. So, we've just created this new type of splitter, which is a 1 to 6 splitter. It's a network splitter, its input is connectorized, and its outputs are fused. All you have to do is save it, and it will be available when you want to add it to your box, condominium or pop. So, to add it to your box, for example, since we've already opened it here in this CE7, it's very simple. You click on this icon in the bottom menu and choose which type of splitter you want to use now. The window will be divided into balanced and unbalanced, and the name you had put in the code will already appear here, and it's at this point that you'll realize the importance of a name, the code of your splitter, being something easy to visualize and remember because it'll be shown here to select the splitter you want. Also, if you prefer, you can search for the splitter you want here in the filter. So, I'm going to filter here what we've just done, and I'm going to add it here in the box so you can see how it's going to be represented. So, we have all these splitters here. This one for 6, this one for 2, this one for 2 for 4, and this one here which is unbalanced. It has this 70 to 30 representation, which shows its capacity divided into each of its fibers, one leaving 70% of its capacity and the other 30% of its capacity. So, just reviewing here what we've just created, it's this splitter here, 1 for 6, so it already shows that it has 1 input and 6 outputs, that it's a network, and that's why it's gray. Its input is connectorized, and that's why it's a square. and its outputs are fused, and that's why they're dots. In the condominiums, it's the same. The icon to add the splitter is in the same place here in the bottom menu, so just do it the same way. As for the pop, you'll come here to your cabinet, click on this plus and choose your new equipment, then define whether it's a type of splitter, and you can put the name and even tags here. Once created, all this information will appear here in this table of splitter types, and you can also access these 3 options on the side. The first shows you a usage report for this type, which will show you where this splitter is being used in your project and within this window. This directs you to the diagram of the box in which this splitter is located. And this GPS icon directs you to the map, so it will center the element that this splitter is in, for example, this box. In this eye, you can edit the settings of this type, and all the options you set when you created this splitter, they can be changed here. And in this one, you can clone the type, i.e., you can replicate this type of splitter. Finally, you can delete this type in this little trash can. As I said before, the splitter's inputs and outputs are already marked with these little balls or squares, which mean that they have fusers or connectors. So they come automatically on the fibers. You don't need to put a fuser or connector on each one, but you can also do it this way. In this splitter here, for example, a fuser has only been added to this output. The difference is that the attenuation setting for this output will be different from the set attenuation. So they'll stay here on the other outputs, and you can use this in any way that's useful to you. This is just an example. And even after you've added the splitter to your box, you can still change its settings in here. So all you have to do is open the splitter's properties here with the right button and make the settings you want, including the port settings, and the possibility of checking the attenuation and noting your installation power and current power, but that's something for another video. So, if you have any questions, you can call us, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel.